Hello.
Hi.
Kayla Lords.
John Brownstone.
Of Loving BDSM, where we help kinksters like you have happy, healthy power exchange relationships. Back to answer another question submitted through our Ask Your Questions little link we have on our website. It's linked down in the description box. This one, I think you're going to have opinions on. Somebody who thinks they might be a switch also has some anger in them, and they want to know if dominance could be an outlet for them. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's get into the question.
All right.
I'm a submissive, but I may be a switch. I am an angry individual, and I was wondering if this correlates to being a dom in any way. I don't think I have any desire to bring someone pleasure through pain. I may just have pent-up rage that I don't know what to do with. I'm sure if it was in a safe and controlled setting, I could use BDSM as an outlet. Is this what dominance is for some people?
Okay. I'm going to start with saying I know for myself, anger does not play a part in our dominance or in our S&M play.
Right, sadism, masochism.
Right. Does anger play a part in dominance?
Here's the thing. If you're the thing about dominance is about control and power.
Right.
If you can maintain self-control and you can somehow guarantee that, which that's not necessarily a thing that can be guaranteed, but you can guarantee that. If I squint real hard, maybe I could see an argument being made to express anger through dominance. However, I think the vast majority of people, especially somebody who would say, I think I'm an angry person and I have, pent-up rage? Pent-up rage has, in my opinion, has not a thing to do with self-control. Not letting your rage explode, that's self-control. But if you would describe your anger as pent-up rage, the fear I would have is that the moment you release it, that self-control evaporates.
The self-control evaporates and then the rage takes control.
Right. And that is not safe for anybody.
No,
it
is not. There have been a couple times when anger has taken the forefront in me. One time, most notably, was right after my sister died.
Several years ago, yeah.
Several years ago. We were doing a scene and we were at the club and I felt that anger bubbling up to the surface. And it was at that point I called the scene and stopped it. The things that we do in and of themselves in a perfect world carry risks. Okay. You bring anger into that, and that risk increases. Whether it's part of, pain play or anything else, even in the dominant side, in the power exchange aspect, we are human beings, okay, first and foremost, over our roles as dominant and submissive. I do not punish out of anger. There have been times I have been angry. It happens. We are who we are. I get angry. You get angry. Everybody gets angry at some point. But when it comes down to the power exchange, anger should not play an aspect on that. And even then, at those times when I have felt myself getting angry, like I said, I do not punish out of anger. There have been times I was like, okay, I need to calm down. I need to step back, catch my breath, and then we will talk about this at a later time. There have been times you have been upset. You have been angry. And I was like, I think we need to step back. You need to calm down, and we need to, come at this in a more rational mindset.
That's the thing. in anger, we are able to express our anger as dom and sub. We are allowed to feel our anger.
Correct.
As individuals, right? It's the next step of that are the actions and the words spoken in anger. Now, the fact that we can say that we are aware when we're angry, we need to take a beat and separate for a minute and go, take the time we need to calm down so that we can come back to one another and work through a thing without our anger being at the forefront. Does not mean, one, we're perfect at it. You want to know how we got there? By realizing that we were acting out in anger and it could potentially damage our relationship or be unsafe for somebody.
Correct.
And two, it does not mean that when it's time to do the punishment or deal with the anger, that we're not still angry. We're just calmer about it. So I think we say all of that to say, if you are going into the idea of dominance with pent-up rage and as a way to deal with your anger, that would make me very nervous, because do you have the skills to be angry and not be violent in a way that is actually potentially damaging? Not in the potentially damaging as in when we do impact play or when we play in certain ways, there's always the potential of risk and damage, but in that way that you've got enough of a lid on it and enough self-control that you won't get carried away with it. And the thing is that I think very few people really have that ability. Are they out there? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think they're the exception, not the rule. Now, I don't know this for a fact. I'm hoping somebody who watches this can or listens can comment in some way, so maybe this can be verified in some way. I am willing to bet that in some spaces, probably large communities where there's just a lot of people to pull from, there are probably people who have experience with, whether they're a pro kinkster, dom or sub, top or bottom, or they've got the experience with it within their community of working with somebody who is angry or wants to use kink as some kind of outlet to release some of that tension and anger. Those people may exist, and if they exist, that is probably an extremely controlled environment.
Yeah.
And there's probably a lot of vetting, and there's a lot of communication, and there's just a lot of other things before you ever get to practice either dominance or topping as an outlet for your anger.
Right.
If that exists at all, I think it's going to be a really rare thing, because the inherent danger of that is often going to be too great a risk for most people. Okay. Are there angry dominants who got into kink, got into power exchange, they recognized they were angry, and in their anger wanted to exert control? Yeah, because people are people. That absolutely exists. There's angry submissives too. The caution I have about the thing that, it makes my butthole just tighten, is the idea of being aware enough, in control enough, knowledgeable enough to be able to do that in a way that keeps everybody safe. And I personally do not believe that that is possible for most people. If you are feeling pent-up rage, the thing I would suggest, JB can tell me if he agrees or not, is to seek out, in whatever way is accessible to you, therapeutic help.
Yes.
To
I was
figure
say
out what that pent-up rage is.
Right.
And work through it, deal with it, heal from it, whatever it is.
Right. We have played, Kayla and I, at times when we have both been stressed. Okay. Life throws all kinds of stressors at you. There are times Kayla has come to me and is like, you're wound pretty tight. I know things have been going on, and, let's play. Let's release some of that stress. Even on her side, there's times because of all the things she does, she is our home administrator, okay, and takes care of a lot of the details for who needs to be where when. And, she gets stressed. A nice little spanking kind of releases that. Stress is different than anger.
Right.
Okay. You said it. I'm just going to reiterate it this a little bit. The thing that makes me pause on this is you're not just talking about anger, you're talking about pent up rage.
That takes my breath away. I want to hug you. I'm almost a little
Right.
afraid to hug you, but I want to hug you because something is going on.
Right.
For that to be the description.
And absolutely, if it is available to you, find someone to talk to about that.
And we will link to it in the places. There is a site that I found my very first therapist through. It's called Kink Aware Professionals. It's all kinds of professionals, but I think the most common and the biggest section of that site is therapists and counselors. So that if you're kinky, you can find somebody. They may not be kinky themselves, and you'll never know, most likely, because that gets awkward. But they're aware of kink and they respect it. So you can maybe find somebody who you can talk to that you don't have to educate about what the hell BDSM is first, because that stops a lot of people from going to therapy, because it's like, wait, the kink side of my life is integral to it. And to explain what's going on in my head, I need you to understand what life I'm trying to live. And the amount of energy and judgment that can occur from having a therapist who does not get it at all, that's a little too much for some folks. The thing is I think absolutely whatever caused your anger and pent up rage is something you will carry with you through the rest of your life. And you can be a person who had things happen to you in life that became anger that you had to deal with and pent up rage that you have to deal with. And you can be a dominant in a power exchange, or you can be a kinkster playing out in the wild and have that background and have that thing within you and know that about yourself, that you get angry easily or that you have a lot of anger to deal with. The thing that would make you a person that would be, an air quote the word safe, because nothing in BDSM is 100% safe, right? But air quote safe to play with others or to get into a power exchange is the fact that you acknowledge your anger, you are finding ways and or have ways to deal with it,
right,
and you are not releasing your anger on somebody who didn't cause it.
Correct.
And when you release your anger, you are doing it in a way that does not harm others. And, that typically requires therapy, time. Hey, might require medication. I don't know. Not a professional, but like it can require a bunch of different tools. And one of those is knowing your triggers. And so that you're not in a kink situation, you get triggered and you don't, you explode in anger, because quite frankly, exploding in anger is just as oftentimes harmful as hitting somebody with a paddle the wrong way, or, or coming at them wrong in, a scene in some way and causing physical injury. Right. So I'm not gonna say that I think that it is risk aware, safe, whatever word a person wants to use, to try to work through your pent up rage in dominance. My guess is that most of the time, there'll probably be exceptions somewhere, because there always are. Most of the time, the person who is a dominant and is an angry dominant and decides that that's how they're going to deal with their anger, they are usually, more often than not, the predator, the abuser, the one who is not caring as much or more about their submissive or bottom as they do themselves. My view on responsible dominance is that dominant, while they want to have control, they want to have power, they want to be the leader, they want to get what they want to get in whatever kinky way. Yes, to all of that, right? They care as much, if not more, about their submissives' needs, wants, desires, and well-being as they do themselves. And if what you're dealing with is anger issues that need to be worked through, I don't necessarily believe, without a lot of hard work in possibly therapy or whatever, that you'll be able to do that safely. Air quote, safely. The unspoken is there's no such thing as safe, but as safely as possible. I do not believe that that's possible.
I think if you spoke to any cross-section of of dominance and ask them about, how anger plays a part in the lifestyle, I think resoundingly the answer would be it doesn't.
Right. The vast majority of us are going to go, do not play when you're angry.
Right.
Do not punish when you're angry. Do not try to work through intricacies in a power exchange when you're like rageful angry, right? Nope. The vast majority of us are going to go, whoa, you got to go sit with that anger, deal with that anger, calm down, whatever that may be, and then move forward. So my immediate intense reaction is the worst possible idea to work through anger in BDSM. Yeah. That being said, let me go back to what I said. There may be some communities that have people who are experienced in the therapeutic aspect of kink. We probably should have said this at the top, but just as a reminder, kink is not therapy.
Correct.
It can be therapeutic. So dealing with anger and rage, that calls for therapy. Working through some of those feelings in a physical way might be therapeutic, but it's not going to air quote fix you. I mean, big air quotes there. It's not going to make everything better, and it's inherently unsafe. So there may be people, professionals or community members who've been in the game a long time and have a lot of experience who maybe in some communities have a thing, but that's going to be rare.
Right.
And that's going to be under very controlled circumstances. And in order, I think, probably to prevent somebody who's like got this anger from going off, doing their own thing, and then causing harm. So ultimately, are there people who get into dominance to deal with their anger? I'm sure there are. Are they safe, reliable doms that, have the trust of their submissives, their partners, the community? Probably not. You're talking about pent-up rage and you're an angry person, work on that anger and where that anger is coming from and what's causing it and how to deal with it, even if you can never make it fully go away. Let your dominance be something separate so that you can keep yourself and partners safe, air quote safe. Do you have anything else you would add to that?
I don't believe so.
Okay. So, yeah, that's it. Please don't do it. Please get help with the anger and let BDSM and dominance be a separate thing. Okay. If you have your own, first of all, if you have thoughts about this, and I know some of y'all will have thoughts about this, please share them in the comment section. If you happen to know people who've gone through a similar thing and can like talk about what that experience was like or what resources they use, definitely share those. We always want more of that for more folks because we are just two people with two opinions. We won't know it all. If you have your own question, there's a link in the description box where you can ask your questions, submit them for future videos like these, and we will try to offer our opinion and our help in any way that we can. If you enjoyed this, we love a thumbs up. If you like it enough to want to come back for more, please consider subscribing.
And once you do that, ring that notification bell to get updates and new content.
And if you lived in my head, you would hear Ring That Bell, which is from Ring My Bell, playing in my head. Also, not to put pressure on anybody, but we do have the completely arbitrary goal of getting to 10,000 subscribers because the algorithm hates kink and BDSM talk. So it takes a while for y'all to know we exist. If you have not subscribed, but you've watched a few of these and you enjoy them, please subscribe. Help us get to the random arbitrary number of 10K. Okay. That's it. Bye.
Bye.